Sweet hour of prayer. Amen. Thank you, guys. It's very good. You know, we have a few things in our bulletin here this morning that you need to be aware of. And remember, 2 weeks from today, on the 24th, we're going to be in the Wallapies. We'll meet in the Wallapies. And usually when we go to the Wallapies, the church is closed. We may have somebody here to kind of direct people and so forth. But so please plan on attending the Wallapies on the 24th. Les, if you want to come up here. You know, we've had this in the bulletin for several weeks, and this is the second reading of transfer for Gail and Robert Renddell. And we've put that off for several weeks because we want them to be here, and they want to be here when we have that reading. And as you may know, Les's mom was in the hospital, and so we're going to have him give you an update.
All right, I don't know how much of you heard last week that she was in the hospital. She went in a week ago, Wednesday. She had a very high fever. She was staring into space. We thought maybe she was having a TIA or a stroke or something like that. So we took her in. They did a CT scan, came out negative. She still had weakness over the whole body, so they decided to do what they call a PE study, which is a CT of the chest, looking at the vessels going into the heart to make sure there's no blockage there. Of course, they were wide open and clear, but in the process, they found a mass in her lung. And the mass was significant. The radiologist read it as a malignancy, possibly a primary somewhere else. We'd already done the CT of the brain, which was negative. They had enough on the CT of the chest to see the top of the liver and knew that it was not in the liver. And so after blood tests and urine tests that came out negative, no high blood count in the white cell area, and no infection going on, they were just completely didn't know what to do. So they had to do a biopsy. They did that last Friday, did a biopsy, and of course it takes forever for stuff to get out over the weekend. And it was Monday or Tuesday before they got the results back, and it came back as valley fever. And a specific spore for the Kingman area. so she got it here in this area. So anyway, so she is now at my place recovering, and so she'll be in. I don't know if she'll come next week or not. She's still very weak. She's taking that medication for the valley fever, which is curable, but it takes a long time. And once she gets her strength back and stuff, she's using a walker to get around because she's very weak. But it's increasing every single day. We're feeding her full of beans and rice and anything else we can. and so her strength is coming back. And as for my surgery, which happened last Thursday, I'm recovering from very nicely and coming along. I'm still a bit sore, having difficulty bending and kneeling and things like that. So, but otherwise doing well.
Thank you. Thanks, Les. Appreciate that. The search for a pastor. I told you we would keep you updated as we went along. And probably most of you have heard this, but if not, I want to make sure everybody does. We had a conference call on Tuesday night. I think there were probably 20-some people on that conference call. Our church board and Bullhead's church board met with Pastor Ramirez, who is the ministerial secretary for the state. And there were 7 of us that had contacted different people in Jamaica to get references, the references that were on Pastor Reed's resume. And the way Pastor Ramirez ended the session, and this stuck in my head because I think it's probably one of a kind comment. He says, it looks like from everything that we've been able to do and everybody that we've been able to contact and our own personal contact with him and having him, he spoke here twice, if you remember, Pastor Reed. We might well have the perfect pastor for your district. Every reference that he had on there, and I personally called a pastor, an older man that has been a pastor for a number of years, 40, I think he said, And he knew Pastor Reed when Pastor Reed first became a pastor. So he's known him his entire career. And he said, I cannot give you any higher a recommendation for anyone. He said, this guy meets with people. He has 8 churches, 2,000 members, over 2,000 members. He handles all of that. He has people that, he has regular training programs for the congregation. He has regular training programs for his elders, deacons. He does an exceptional job of educating the congregation. We talked about him being in the community, and they talked about the things that he has done in the community, the kind of outreach that he has had. And I still haven't figured this one out exactly, but the pastor that I spoke with said, Pastor Reed is also a justice of the peace. Now, I don't know if that was in the past. Was it difficult, but the phone was bad, and I had a... And by the way, if you speak to me today and I don't answer you, my head is so stopped up, and I don't know what that's about, but I can't hear anything. I sat too close to Jerry Richmond, I think, because it's just like a bubble in my head. But anyway, I was having difficulty understanding exactly, but he said he was a justice of the peace. That could have been in the past. I can't imagine that he could do that concurrent with being a pastor, but I don't know what justice of the peaces do in Jamaica. So anyway, it appears, and this was a comment that was asked by one of our board members, they said, well, if we do decide and he agrees and everything can be worked out, how soon is we going to be able to see him in our church from Jamaica, having to move from another country, take care of all that stuff? And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be January. That's in my head with him. And he said, probably 4 to 6 weeks. Amen? Right. So you'll have somebody up here who really knows what they're doing and not, trying to get through week to week. But that's where we are with that. And so I just wanted to update you and let you know for sure that that's what's going on. We have something new. Obviously, we're having communion today. And in the communion tray, when they pass out the bread, in the center of each one of those plates, there's a small cup, and it's gluten-free. Because we do have some people who can't do gluten at all. And so we're trying to help everybody. So they're both available to whoever wants them. And you can use the old-fashioned kind that stick in your teeth. I don't know, the gluten-free might not stick in your teeth, but so it might not be the same. But I want to welcome you and thank each one of you for being here. And have a happy Sabbath.